This girl's boss wants her to babysit his adult son at work. So my boss, Robert, maybe 53, maybe 54, asked me Friday if I could help orient his son, Austin, at the office. Austin's 26 and apparently needs a job after whatever happened at his last place. Robert didn't say what happened, just that Austin's between opportunities and needs structure and mentorship. I'm 29, been at this insurance company for 4 years doing data entry and client intake. It's boring but fine. Robert manages our department, and he's always been normal to me. Asks about my dog, doesn't micromanage. Austin started Monday. Showed up in an anime hoodie, those pants that are somehow both shorts and pants, and Crocs. Robert introduced us in the break room and said, Riley's going to show you the ropes, listen to her, she's good at what she does. Austin didn't look at me. He was watching someone's YouTube video over their shoulder. I brought him to my cubicle area, explained the database, how to input claims, the coding system. He sat in the spare chair Robert had put there, and I could smell something like corn chips and Axe body spray. He kept sighing these huge, loud sighs, and when I asked if he had questions, he said, "This is what you do all day?" "Yeah, it's a job. Seems monotonous." "Okay, cool. You want the paycheck or not?" Robert checked in twice that first day. Austin spent maybe 40 minutes actually working. The rest of the time, he was on his phone with earbuds in. I told him he couldn't have both earbuds in per company policy, and he took one out but kept looking at his screen. I could see the reflection in his glasses. He was scrolling Instagram. Tuesday, Austin brought in a mechanical keyboard from home, one of those loud, clicky ones that sounds like tap dancing. Every time he typed anything, it echoed through the whole floor. Someone from HR came by and looked at it, but didn't say anything, just walked away shaking her head. He also started eating full meals at the desk. Tuesday was spaghetti in Tupperware that he microwaved so long the whole break room smelled like burnt plastic and marinara. He brought it back and slurped it while watching anime on his phone propped against the monitor I was trying to show him how to use. Wednesday, Robert sent me an email that actually said, "I know Austin can be a handful, but he needs this. His mother and I really appreciate your patience." His mother? I looked Austin up on Facebook during lunch, and yeah, Robert's wife tagged Austin in a Mother's Day post. So this is his actual son. I went back to my desk, and Austin had rearranged my side of the cubicle. Moved my stapler, my plant, everything. When I asked what he was doing, he said, "Feng shui, the energy flow was off." I moved everything back, and he said, "You're really close-minded." Thursday, Austin asked me if I was dating anyone. We were in the middle of a call with a client about a dental claim, and he just said it. I had to mute myself. I said, "That's not appropriate," and he did this thing where he smirked and said, "I'm just making conversation. You don't have to be rude." Later that day, he asked if I wanted to see his setup and showed me his phone with pictures of his gaming PC at home. There were maybe 30 photos, different angles of the same computer with LED lights. I said, "That's nice," and tried to go back to work, and he said, "You didn't even really look." I told Robert I'm happy to train Austin on work stuff, but he's making personal comments and not actually doing the tasks. Robert looked tired, rubbed his face, and said, "Riley, I'm asking you as a personal favor. Just give him another week to settle in. He's dealing with a lot right now." What lot? What is he dealing with besides being coddled? Friday, Austin didn't come in until 11 a.m. Robert brought him to my desk and said he overslept. Austin had a Monster energy drink in each hand, and when he sat down, he put his feet on my recycling bin. I moved it, and he said I wasn't done with that, even though his feet were just on it. I had a deadline for a batch of claims by 3 p.m. I asked Austin to help input some of the simpler ones, walked him through it again. He did 3, and then said his hands hurt from typing and went to the break room for an hour. I checked. He was showing some guy from accounting YouTube videos on his phone. I stayed late to finish everything myself. Robert saw me leaving at 6:30 and said, "Thank you for putting in the extra effort, I see you," which would have been nice, except the extra effort was covering for his useless son. Around 2 p.m., Austin had asked if I wanted to get drinks after work. I said no. He said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because I don't want to, and I'm your coworker, not your friend." He called me a bitch, not loud, he said it, while looking at his phone like he was reading it off something. I got up and went to Robert's office, but he was in a meeting. I sat back down and didn't talk to Austin the rest of the day. When 5 p.m. hit, I left, and he was still watching Twitch streams on his phone. Monday, I'm supposed to keep doing this, and I don't know what Robert expects me to do here. Austin won't do the job, and now he's calling me names and asking me out, and I feel like I'm the one being tested. Relevant comments. User 1 comment, "Your boss is using you as free childcare." Austin sounds like he got fired for being a creep somewhere else, and daddy's trying to rehab him on your time. User 2 comment, "Why are you even still helping him? Just tell Robert you're not a babysitter." Hoppy replied, "Because Robert is my boss, and he specifically asked me to do this. If I say no, it's going to make everything weird." User 3 comment, "It's already weird. You're teaching a grown man who calls you a bitch how to do data entry while he watches anime." User 4 comment, "The drinks thing is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Document everything, get it in writing." User 5 comment, "You're a doormat, lol. This is on you at this point." Up replied, "Thanks for the support, dickhead." Update. son of my boss tried to add me on World of Warcraft using my full legal name he got from the employee directory. November 3rd, 2024, 1 week after original post. Okay, several people told me to document and I didn't because I thought it'd blow over, but it didn't blow over. Tuesday, Austin asked if I play any games. I said no because I wanted the conversation to end. Later that night, I got a friend request on Battle.net from Kyle Thunderstrike with a message that said, "Hey Riley, my last name, we should run some dungeons." My full name isn't on my Battle.net. It's a random username I made in college. He got my name from the employee contact sheet and searched for me. I blocked him. Wednesday at work, I told him that was inappropriate, and he said, "What, I can't make friends? You're so stuck up." Thursday, Austin started asking about my personal life again. Do I live alone? Where's my apartment? Do I have a roommate? I told him to stop, and he said, "I'm just trying to get to know the people I work with. You're being hostile." He also started rolling his chair really close to mine when I was working, like inches away, and breathing really loud. I'd move, and he'd roll closer. It felt like a game to him. I went to HR and told him everything. The comments, the Battle.net thing, the questions about where I live, the chair thing. They wrote it down and said they'd look into it, but also said Robert mentioned Austin's going through a rough transition, maybe give him some grace while he adjusts. What the hell is there to adjust to? You sit at a desk and enter numbers. Friday, there was a coffee on my desk, the kind I get from the cafe downstairs, and a note that said, "Sorry if I came on too strong, friends," in this serial killer handwriting. Austin pointed at the coffee and said, "I noticed you get that kind." I poured it in the sink and he followed me in there and said, "That's freaking rude. I spent money on that." I told him I didn't ask him to buy me anything, and he said, "You could at least say thank you, I'm trying here." The guy from the sales team witnessed the whole thing and left fast like he didn't want to be involved. Robert called me into his office after, asked me why I was being cold to Austin. Apparently Austin told him I'm excluding him and being mean. I explained the Battle.net thing, the coffee, the questions, the chair thing. Robert sighed and said, "Riley, he's awkward, he doesn't have a lot of experience with women in professional settings. Can you just be patient?" I said, "This isn't my job." Robert said, "I'm making it part of your job. I need you to do this for me." Not asking, telling. Then he said the thing that made me want to scream. Also, Austin's been having trouble getting here on time. His car's in the shop and his mother can't keep driving him. You live near us, right? Could you pick him up in the mornings for a couple weeks? I said, "I don't think that's appropriate." And Robert said, "I'll comp you gas," like that was the issue. I said no, and Robert's face changed. He looked actually annoyed and said, "I've been very flexible with you, Riley. I'd appreciate some flexibility back." Flexible with what? I show up on time, do my work, never call out. What flexibility? I left his office and Austin was standing near my desk holding his phone up. I think he was filming me. When I walked over, he put it down and said, "Just snapping the office for my story." Monday, Robert called me at 7 a.m. and asked if I was coming to get Austin. I said, "I told you no," and he said his mother's really upset about this. She thought it was settled. I hung up. Austin showed up at 11 a.m. and just stared at me from his desk with his arms crossed the entire day. Tuesday, Austin brought in a framed photo of an anime girl and put it on his desk facing me. Wednesday, he started humming really loud whenever I was on the phone with clients. Thursday, he told a guy from sales I was jealous of his success, which doesn't even make sense. He doesn't do anything. Today, Austin didn't show up and Robert didn't say why, but he's been slamming things in his office all morning. Edit because people are asking, yes, I'm still looking. Austin's login on the database shows he's entered maybe 20 claims total in 3 weeks, and half of them were wrong and I had to fix them. Relevant comments. User 1 comment, "He was 100% filming you. Probably has a whole folder of creep shots." User 2 comment, "Your HR is useless and your boss is a nightmare. Get out before this escalates more." User 3 comment, "The way your boyfriend's response was quit and not I'm coming to your office to deal with this is also interesting." Op replied, "What's he supposed to do, fight Kyle in the lobby?" User 4 comment, "I'm saying he should be more concerned, that's all." User 5 comment, "File a complaint above Robert if there's anyone. This is creating a hostile work environment and your HR already knows." Op replied, "There's a regional manager, but I've never met him and don't know how to even contact him without going through Robert." Update. My boss fired me for creating a disturbance after his son told him I was sleeping with someone in the office to get ahead. January 15th, 2025, 2 months after update 1. Yeah, so I don't work there anymore. Austin came back and acted normal for a while, didn't talk to me much. I stopped trying to get him to do anything, just did my work and pretended he didn't exist. This seemed to make him mad because he started doing weirder stuff for attention. Week before Christmas, he brought in a gaming chair from home, one of those bright red race car looking ones with speakers in the headrest, and replaced his office chair with it. HR walked by, stared at it, kept walking. He started playing anime openings through the chair speakers, just loud enough that I could hear it. When I asked him to use headphones, he said, "It's my chair, I can do what I want." Mid-December, I had a client meeting in a conference room, an older couple wanting to adjust their policy. Austin knocked, opened the door without waiting, stuck his head in, and said, "Riley, Robert needs you," and left. Robert wasn't even in the office that day. Austin just wanted to interrupt. The clients asked who that was, and I said a coworker and tried to move on, but I kept losing my place in the paperwork. Week before Christmas, Austin started being weird again, but differently, staring at me and shaking his head like he was disappointed. One day he said, "I know what you're doing," and I said, "What?" And he said, "You know what?" I didn't know what. He also started leaving things on my desk when I wasn't there. Printed memes, a fake spider, an empty energy drink can. Every day. And I couldn't prove it was him, even though I knew it was. Robert started being cold to me around the same time. The week after Christmas, he called me into his office with someone from HR and said they were letting me go effective immediately for workplace conduct violations. I asked what violations. She slid a paper across the desk. A written statement from Austin saying I'd been having an affair with a married coworker and using it to get preferential treatment, and that I'd been harassing Austin because he found out and I was trying to keep him quiet. There was a second page saying I'd stolen Adderall from Austin's desk, that he had a prescription and I'd taken pills from the bottle. None of that happened. I said none of that happened. Robert said Austin had screenshots of me admitting to things. I asked to see them, and HR said they weren't required to share evidence, that the decision was final. I said, "Search my stuff, search my car, I don't have anything." She said, "We're not accusing you of having it on you, just that it went missing after an interaction with you." What interaction? They wouldn't say. They had security walk me out. It was a guy who's worked there for 10 years and knows me. He looked so uncomfortable. I wasn't allowed to get my stuff from my desk. They mailed it to me later in a box. Someone had gone through it because my notepad was in a different place and some snacks in the drawer were missing. The box also had a bag of Austin's hair ties in it. I don't know if someone put them there by mistake or on purpose to make it look like I had his stuff. I filed for unemployment and the company contested it. I'm appealing. I had a phone interview with someone from the unemployment office, and she sounded like she didn't believe me. My boyfriend and I broke up last week. He said I was letting this consume me, and he didn't want to deal with my mood anymore, which is fine. His apartment smelled like feet anyway, and he never wanted to go anywhere. I'm sleeping on my friend's couch because I couldn't make rent and had to break my lease. All my stuff is in a storage unit. The reason I'm posting is because a girl I used to work with texted me yesterday. She said Austin got promoted. He's doing my old job and also some social media coordinator role Robert created for him. I looked at the company Instagram, and Austin posted a photo 2 days ago of the office with the caption, "Loving the new energy here," and Robert commented, "Proud of you, son." There's a photo from a week ago of Austin holding a Starbucks cup captioned, "Corporate life choosing me FR," and you can see my old desk in the background with someone else sitting there. She also said Austin told people I had a breakdown and that's why I'm gone, and everyone believes it because Robert backed up the story. I haven't left my friend's apartment in 3 days except to get clothes from the storage unit. Addition, I'm working at a Target doing overnight stocking now. It's actually better because I don't have to talk to anyone, and the pay is close to what I was making. My friend helped me apply because I couldn't get myself to do it. I just kept staring at the application. That's the end of this absolute trash fire. Thanks for sticking around. Hope I didn't waste your time. If you're down for more stories like this, hit that follow button or at least drop a like so I know people actually give a damn. Later, guys.